My scary stories are real. And this is Manipulation Part 2. I want y'all to listen to me very carefully. My son asked me the other day, he said, if you know everybody's business, but you can't see your own future and destiny and you go to somebody else, how do you know they're in your best interest? And that's easy to say. It's because a lot of psychic mediums, we see different. Everybody don't see the same. So he made a point. He said, well, if that's the case, why you got all these high priests and all these babas and they can't see past the veil? And this is my next story. This spiritual game can be very manipulative. Very. In my whole 44 years, I can count on one hand how many people have saw my friend. When I was young, my auntie, who was born with the veil across her eyes. And when my brother passed, he brought a psychic medium to me, talked through her to me. And I also met another psychic that said the same thing. But let me tell you something about my big friend. My big friend has never hurted me but once. She hurt me once. But she was sent here to protect me. And she didn't like anybody to get close neither. And she old as a fuck. Old as a fuck. I wish I had a lie detector test hooked up to me while I'm doing this story. So, after my auntie came from Miami to see exactly what she needed to see, I started finding all kind of shit around the house. Like all kind of Gary bags, all type of protection spells in the house. So one day, my mom gets me all dressed up. And I can tell y'all what I had on and everything. I had on a white shirt, like a turtleneck shirt. And I had on my little fur jacket. It was brown, cream, and gray, or whatever. And I had on a skirt and some white stockings and some black BB doll shoes. And I remember me and my mama walking somewhere, and I'm like, where we going at? She was like, she was like, you going to church. I'm like, church? My mama ain't never took us in no church. Right? So we walking down the cobblestone, and we headed up the stairs of this church. So we go in, and the pastor goes, anybody who hasn't been saved, I need for you to leave the church. And my mama left. So I looked, and my auntie was in church. I go, hey, auntie. Because my auntie, she's a big Christian, right? So all of a sudden, It was all of these little kids. Some of them was around my age. Some of them was a little bit older. And they wheeled this man like in the center. He was the pastor. He didn't have no legs. And he had a lot of adopted children. So all I know is my auntie, we went up to the podium or whatever, and she was standing like on the right side of me. And two of the smaller children, who was a little bit older than me, I had to be no more than about 6 or 7. They stood, one stood on the right of me, one stood on the left of me, and they had these these big old fashioned, like these ceramic water jugs. All of a sudden, that man opened up that Bible and started reading. The two kids grabbed me and started pouring oil and shit down my throat. And I'm trying to reach for my auntie, and her fucking head is spinning. My scary stories are real. Not one time my mama sat me down and talked to me and asked me what was going on or what was around me. Because I'm going to tell y'all parents who got gifted kids, the scariest thing about this story and about not being aware when your kids tell you certain things that they have no idea knowing. When your child has an imaginary friend, you know what they do to that imaginary friend? They treat them like a friend. Now I'm going to say that to say this. I was feeding it. And I know some of y'all like feeding it, yes. You know what happens when you feed a dark energy? It becomes stronger. So if you ever wanted to know why, that was for all my ops, all of my haters, all these motherfuckers out here trying to see why I ain't left yet. Back to the story.